Good afternoon and welcome to the 2020 Economic Recession and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this Monday, August 17th, 2020. Today, I want to talk to you briefly about the housing collapse that we're going to be experiencing in the next 2 to 3 months. And also, I want to talk about how the unemployment rate is affecting inflation prices all over the world. All over the United States, but basically all over the world too. According to CNBC.com, report today, August 17th, Monday, home builder sentiment, jumps to record high, but soaring lumber prices could dampen momentum. Builder confidence jumped 6 points from 72 to 78. That's according to the National Association of Home Builders and Wells Fargo Housing Market Index. Anything above 50 is considered positive sentiment. However, the cost of lumber, that's the cost of building these new single-family homes or apartment homes like they're building on all these major cities around the United States, is soaring. Not only because of increased demand, but because the mills that were shut down, the lumber mills were shut down in April and May and in June, and they did not expect to see this kind of strong demand that they seeing now. So as a result, we have this sort of little mini pent-up demand for single-family homes. So the media is purporting to us through the outlets, the financial outlets. They're saying that potential buyers are flooding into modeled homes across the nation, and that has builders feeling better about their business than any time over the past 20 years. But they're saying that rising lumber prices are the reason that the V-shaped recovery in the housing market has not taken off like a steamroll. The cost of lumber is soaring not only because of increased demand, but now they're saying that they've been having issue with transportation and labor, logistics, meaning that the semi trucks that ship these products from the paper mills and the lumber mills are having a hard time logistically getting to the areas that need it the most. So while home builders are benefiting from the severe shortage of existing homes for sale, there's too few homes to meet the demand, and that's even before this whole sickness pandemic struck. So now fewer homeowners are willing to list their homes for sale. Now we have all of this in a time where mortgage rates have dropped to historic lows to start August. But now mortgage rates giants mortgage lenders such as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have increased their fees to lenders. So now they've increased their fees to lenders, and that has pretty much thrown a little bit of cold water and shade on the demand for new starts of housing now. So now we're going into the situation where the homes that are on sale right now, the existing homes are having a harder time selling because people don't have the disposable income, the two-earner household income. Even if they have the income, they cannot get into a home because the lending requirements are tightening up. The credit and lending requirements by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and these other mortgage lenders are tightening up now as a result of their trying to keep themselves afloat, as a result of the second stimulus package being put on hold until who knows when, because Congress is on recess until after Labor Day, which is September 7th or 8th. So nothing is going to get passed, and even if a second stimulus does get passed, for businesses and consumers alike, individuals, we can most likely will not see a second stimulus check until mid-October to late October at the latest. Now, for people this is the worst time in the world to buy a new starting house, because of the fluctuating cost associated with the housing itself. And for the fact that the housing market is due to crash in beginning of November to mid-November. And that means that these prices are in for a big correction. And that's what they know. Also, there was another article on MarketWatch.com about New York City dying, never coming back. The city that never sleeps. Who would have ever thought that 3-4 years ago that New York City would be ground to a halt as a result of this sickness pandemic? Many residents that I've talked to have said that when they first moved to New York City, it was a dream come true. Everything was happening. There was so much personality, so many people buying things, real estate, going out to dinner, looking at the great shows, the theater shows in Times Square. But now many question, is New York City, the price of living in New York City and its 5 boroughs, worth it anymore? It's estimated that 420,000 residents between March and May have moved out of the city for the suburbs and upstate as a result of rising costs in food, housing. In New York City, to get a one-bedroom apartment, you need at least $2,800 a month, and that's not even in a great area of the city. In July, there was a record 13,117 vacant apartments across Manhattan. Let me repeat that. In July, quote, there was a record 13,117 vacant apartments across Manhattan. Now, you think about the population of New York City, you're talking 10 million people easily. They can easily, it's not for a shortage of demand, it's for a shortage of disposable income and jobs and money, okay? A year ago, that same number was only 5,912 vacant apartments. Also, new lease signings fell by 23%, resulting in a drop in rental prices. And this is where hence where we see things are gonna go. Rental prices are gonna be dropping major in cities such as San Francisco, New York, Chicago, Houston, Dallas, Orlando, Miami, Boston, New Jersey, because they're going to be dropping as a result of low demand, and people are not going to have the disposable income to fill all these new apartments that they're building and new townhouses that the builders are building. So the builders are going to be faced with rising cost of production for lumber, labor, materials, right? And the consumer is going to be faced with rising cost of food, energy, gas. All of this is creating the perfect storm for the perfect collapse that we're going to see in the first quarter of 2021 and beyond. And this is regardless of whoever wins the election. I'm telling you the truth. This is 100% facts. And that's why I am so adamant about being self-sufficient, being prepared every day. Every day that we have that something major has not happened individually to our families and to our communities is another day that we have to get prepared. Just like the ant, just like the builder, just like any other thing in nature, we have to be prepared for the rainy day because it is coming very fast. Can you imagine cities such as New York, Chicago, LA becoming ghost towns or ghettos filled with crime that not even the police and others can stop as a result? The city centers will be empty. Things such as what used to be schools, public schools, are going to be used as homeless shelters. This is what's coming to America. Things that used to be buildings downtown, skyscrapers, are going to be used as distribution centers for the National Guard. This is what's coming to America in order to control the level of crime and the level of destitution that we're going to be seeing. And all of this is unwinding slowly. Like I said, the world follows America. But since this is a worldwide depression, every nation is going into a depression coming up very shortly, with the exception of very few that have already been there and who already know what to do, such as China and Russia, and we know who the rest, who are working together as a coalition. But as far as the Western world, we don't produce anything, we don't make anything, and this is going to be the result. Even with the digital revolution that they've been bragging about on CNBC and MSNBC, Fox News and CNN, digital automation and electric cars cannot make up for the loss of production overnight. It's going to take 10 to 12 years for the housing market to come back. It's going to take 10 to 12 years for this economy to come back. And no matter how much money that we print out, it's not going to be enough to quell the starving bellies of Americans, men and women, boy and girl. And that's going to be the number one thing that's going to be the backbreaker. When food prices go up, when housing prices come down and there's not enough people to afford these apartments and these houses, that's going to be the death of not only the commercial real estate market, but the private single family individual housing market. This time is different. Everybody's told me that New York City is so resilient, that everything is so great living here, but now it has a different feel to it. Even in the 2008 and 2009 recession, we did not have 60 million people unemployed. We did not have 13,000 vacant apartments in Manhattan and beyond. This really is something to pay attention to, ladies and gentlemen. And I encourage you to continue to prepare whatever you can put away, $20, $50, $100, put that away and put the rest into getting supplies, food, water, medicine, clothes, durable clothes, okay? Starting a garden seeds. Durable heirloom, non-GMO seeds, non-GMO food, Start preparing your family, teaching your family, your friends, the survival skills that maybe you know. Maybe you know about security. Do that. Maybe you know about education, teaching your kids or homeschooling your kids. Do all of that, because that's what's going to be needed. Soon there will come a time when we cannot get supplies out of these major cities because they're going to be gone. Or either that, or they're going to be siphoned off to the top upper 1%, the rich folks, just like in Venezuela, just like in Zimbabwe, just like in Turkey, what's going on, a crisis right now with their lira. So because this is worldwide, and because people have congregated the cities forever, these cities are not coming back. And it's going to start with the big cities, New York City, Chicago, LA, and it's going to work its way to the medium-sized cities, maybe a Dallas, maybe a Houston, maybe a Dallas, maybe a Minneapolis, maybe a New Jersey, maybe a Baltimore, or DC. Then it's going to come into the suburbs, and then from the suburbs, the last place to feel the impact of this is the rural areas, because we know that we're used to surviving on the land and living off the land. And then there are going to be those who are going to come out and try to take what we have, but they're not going to be able to do it because we know have security and we have God who's looking up on our side. So continue to prepare. This thing is only going to get worse before it gets better. It's not going to get better. And so continue to prepare. That's the message for today. I'll see you very soon. Please subscribe to this channel and tell your friends to subscribe, and we'll be back with the latest news. Have a blessed afternoon.